Hello and welcome back to Lore Master Caerula's channel. For our first video, I want to discuss the cosmology of the Gunnm universe. Now Gunnm, or Battle Angel Alita if you wish, is not a series that most people consider to be particularly powerful. However, once you understand how the cosmology of the series works, you'll find that it is actually an extremely powerful series. In this video, we will be ordering the cosmology from its lowest dimensionality up to its highest. So without further ado, let's begin. Starting off, we have the normal 3D or third dimensional universe. There isn't much to explain here, it's the main setting of the Gunnm-verse that we know and love. Now there is a common misconception that fictional series start at 2D or two-dimensional, but within the context of their setting, the baseline is 3D. One rung up and we have subspace. Now, this is briefly mentioned at the end of the last Order manga, when Donpho, or Tunpo, depending on your translation of the manga, created a black hole that he then punched it so hard it moved into subspace. Now, definitionally, subspace is a fourth dimensional realm, and therefore we can move on with that being 4D. Incidentally, Donpho helps us find our fifth dimension as well, as he explains that he is going to a realm beyond space and time after he defeats Zeka. Now, a realm beyond time and space is classic fifth dimensional space, and being able to move in it would make you immeasurable speed, by the way. So, already off to a good start. The sixth and seventh dimension require more explaining, as it's more complicated to, well, explain. The subconscious realm is the sixth dimension. Now in Gunnm, notably during the Starship Cult arc, we find that the subconscious is an actual observable and infinitely larger realm than the consciousness itself, as is displayed as a small boat being the consciousness amongst an endless ocean that is the subconscious. We know that the subconscious has its own dimensionality, as we know that A, it means a real place, B, Melgendeck is, in its base form, created by the collective unconscious of all humanity, and C, we know that human perception, will, and thought influences reality, which should include these physical dimensions. And we know that they include these physical dimensions because Agamemnon and Destiny Nova make it clear that whatever humanity thinks manipulates the future, and Melgendeck is said to see multiple dimensions. Now, delving into karma and how it works in Gunnm is a complicated video and worth its own video. But basically, its subconscious is the sixth dimension. The seventh dimension has to be what, as Dr. Godin describes to be hell, aka the well beneath the subconscious where the demons lurk. It is stated to surpass the core physiology, and again, it's reinforced that it transcends sort of the normal subconscious, and therefore, seventh dimension. The eighth dimension should be the realm for the dead, or souls. We only get a few allusions to this, notably when we see the personal space of Colonel Payne, who is a Geist, and later we see Alita's soul after Toji kills her during the tournament finals. Basically, once you're dead, you obviously shouldn't be tethered to the subconscious realm, or the realm below the subconscious, as it's made apparent those realms are spawned by human brains, which ghosts don't have. But what I'm more confident about is the ninth dimension, which is the realm of the god Absurde. For our English readers, you may remember this scene where Springleg Jack talks to God. However, in the original Japanese, he's actually talking to a god named Absurde, or Absurd if you wish. Anyhow, this god Absurde is just blatantly above Moonchild Wolfon and Jet and G, who are users of the demons I mentioned earlier, and as a god, he very clearly transcends these beings. Above all of that, we have base Melgendeck, which is our 10th dimension. Now, Melgendeck as a realm that it is indeed a higher dimension, as it wholly transcends the human mind with ease. It can view these alternate dimensions as well, as I mentioned earlier. It can view the likes of ghosts and pseudo-ghosts like Pain are insignificant within it, so on and so forth. Melgendeck even has to explain to Mambati that it has to actively nerf itself so that it can be even perceptible for human minds. And when it does show its higher layer, the 11th dimension, the karma layer, it still has to nerf it itself so it doesn't drive him insane. But what we see in this realm is that it's capable of mapping out and perceiving all the karma/will in existence, both in the past but also in the future. And it is stated there are infinite potential futures at any given time. This realm is described by Mambati to be akin to God's Eye, and his mind had begun to break down from only being in the realm for a few minutes. Very, very, very impressive. For the 12th dimension, we have the state of oneness, also officially known as Ars Magna. It is described as taking the universe into yourself in the original manga, when Joshua Gunn achieves this form, and in Last Order it's expanded upon in Don Fao, who's in a constant state of oneness himself. Firstly, Mambadi states that the D-Ripper device that allows Don Fao to remain in that state has the power to destroy the fabric of space-time in of itself. Then Don Fao himself suggests that Zeka had the power, had he followed his own path, he could have actually slayed the bad karma inherent in human existence itself. There's also the fact that the man blatantly transcended when he achieved enlightenment, as his spirit lost connection to his physical body, and he could barely stay in the physical dimension for very long. A man also folds Colonel Payne, who's a Geist, and just casually walks into the fifth dimension. I'm oversimplifying it here for the sake of brevity, but basically oneness is transcendence in almost Buddhist sense with Don Fao. Finally, at the top, we have God himself. Now, some of you may be confused, as you might not think we actually see God in Gunnm, but we do. When Alita and Figure 4 pray for rain for God, bada bing, a thunderstorm just spawns. Doesn't build up, no, it just spawns. When Victor died, the Impact Winter just coincidentally ended, and the vampire even questioned if God was choosing humanity, and had just waited for him to die off. You have the fact that in 2 of the 3 uses of oneness we see, Jashugan and Caerula's are accompanied by some sort of allusion to divine power, as you see with the way the light angles on them. And finally, you have the fact that we know gods exist in Gunnm from Absurde. Basically, God just upscales from the verse and fits into the final 13th dimensional spot.